Welcome to CendyVerse, your gateway to tech, code, and smarter living. Subscribe and explore the verse.
How are you? Hey, my dear good friends. I'm recently seeing my friends. You are getting a little bit confused when you are going to buy a computer or your desktop, fast desktop. There are multiple things you need to consider when you are buying a desktop. Uh, Today's video, I am going to telling you guys a little bit about more. One of my recent friend buy a PC desktop. He have some little bit issues for the adjustment of the what kind of a element or equipment he is going to buy for his PC, and he has some difficulties. So today we are going to adjust you to that if you don't have to find those difficulties so easily. So first we need to buy a PC. First, when you are going to buy a PC, you need to check best you need to know that before you are buying a PC, what kind of work you will do. If you are going to buy NVIDIA graphics card or AMD graphics card or Intel graphics card, and what reason you are going to using it. Mainly I'm going to say this to you guys. If you are buying, choice is different on you are buying a future graphics card, then make that build like that generation. You need to think about a wait. Mainly I'm saying this because um, if you are buying a Gen 4 PCs, I guess Gen 4 PCs and Gen 5 have different lane, different architectures. So if you're mismatch, you will get the less performance. I will show you how you can get the less performance. Basically, if you're buying a Gen 5 graphics card, you're planning to buy a PC right now, you will get the Gen 5 is the latest. So if you're going to buy for the latest, so you need to build for the latest. If you're buying for future, you need to think about how many years you will need to change that gen. If you're buying gen 4 and thinking about you will get the gen 6 or gen 5, that will not be that much comfortable, but there will be issues with the performance. So you are paying for the performance, but you won't get that kind of performance. What I'm basically saying, I'll show you basically. If we go to start, okay, here I am in the component section. Basically this kind of website have the you can see that it's gen 5 or gen 4. So if I go to the graphics card section here, if I buy a gen 5, let's say gen 5 50 series card has the gen 5. Okay, let's see 5060. Okay, if you go down here, yes, here is the PCI Express gen 5 16x x16 lane. Okay, so if you're buying a graphics card, basically 16 lane or gen 5 PCI Express, so you need to buy a motherboard related to that, or you will get the less performance. Okay, motherboard with the PCI Express 5 support. How will you know it? Yeah, when you are seeing this PCI Express, you should go to the slot of PCI, then you will see the PCI Express. It's the PCI Express 4. So this motherboard isn't that much compatible with that. So we next go to You have to remember another thing. If you are building the AMD system, then you have to make sure you have the motherboard of AMD. If you are building the NVIDIA system, NVIDIA didn't make the motherboard, so no, sorry. If you're making the AMD system, then you have to choose the AMD motherboard. So if you go down here, you will see this is a PCI Express 5 supporting. So you have to need to buy the BM860. Okay, and related to that, you have to buy a processor that support the PCI Express 5 or generation 5. So if we go back component, then you can see processor. Okay. Here is a AMD. I will show you first AMD. Then I've got the and get this here. So it's have the DDR5. Okay, they haven't said what kind of PCI Express it support. Let's see if it have the information. No, they don't have the information. Let's go for 39,000. No, this also not saying about the what kind of PCI Express that they can handle, but they handle. I think as far as I remember, it handle the PCI 5, I guess. So if I go to 12, they said no. So how can you find it? Just simple Google it your processor model, and you will have that information like this copy. Yeah, here you go. You have the information PCI Express 5. If we have written here 770 gaming, copy this, paste, it will say yes, here is the PCI 5 Express they support. So if we go through this is number 2, let's see the PCI 4. Let's see what they support. I think they support basically yes 78770 support PCI Express 4, so you need to build different on this PCI. So in another video we'll talk on what is the PCI Express, why, but when you are building a PC you should remember that what kind of processor you are getting, and you need to research. Just if you go to that shop and then you buy a different mixed up what the shopkeepers say, that would be a mixed kind of thing, and you loses a lot of money and FPS, and you have lose the power of that processor, and you have to remember the generations what you are buying, everything. So first you need to see what kind of PCI Express you are getting and how you can improve for the future proof, like also the future proof. If you have done planning for that kind of future proofing, you will getting the PCI 3 processor, but you are thinking to use it with the 5050 I mean 5050 RTX 5050 and PCI Express, right? That would be a not so good, but you will lose some performance. Like if you pair with this, I guess, mm, Intel, a very popular processor. Where is the 5600G? Yes, here is the 5600G, and it expresses, I guess, PCI 3 as far as I remember. Oh yes, yes, this is the PCI 3. If you see the PCI 3 and you are using a building with the Gen 5, there would be a uh, you can say a little bit performance difference if you did PCI 5 versus 5. Market have multiple. Okay, 4 versus 5. Let's see. Market have multiple things, I guess. It didn't give me that answer what I am searching for. Let remove the PCI 4 here. As far as I know that PCI 5 have the double performance of PCI 4. So let's see what the PCI offering. PCI offering is 3.94 hour and PCI 3 is 0.8. So it's a bigger difference performance. Initially you won't notice, but if you're playing with the higher graphics, and then you will notice the performance difference. If you have 56000Z or PCI Gen 3 and you are using what we should say Gen 5 graphics, it will look a lot performance difference there. So when you're budgeting your PC, you should remember what kind of PCI you are looking for. Okay, basically PCI is a major things in when you are going to buy. So related to that, you need to think about the RAM, what kind of RAM you are going. A DDR5, you can go by any kind of DDR5, but there is a but. You need to think about the megahertz. Is that your motherboard support that megahertz or your processor support that megahertz? For example, or it's compatible or not. There's a lot of these generations have already passed, so there is a multiple revisions. Yeah, for example, if you buy a 6000, I go to that RAM desktop. If you buy I think 680, I will get something. Yeah, if you buy 68 megahertz RAM, and if your component motherboard, this video is getting boring, but it will help you buying decision. Basically it will help you. If your motherboard have the I would say motherboard has the support for, yeah, this motherboard have supports, but if I go motherboard gigabyte, support the processor, so like that it's RAM actually it's supporting a highest to 64,000, so you are losing the 400 memory megahertz. So it's a not big of a deal, but you get little less. Basically you are paying more but you're going to less, so it have the effect. So from that, if you are matching with the less powerful processor, oh, let's go to the see the processor what I'm talking. You have to see if your processor will support or not that kind of megahertz. Here you are seeing this. Okay, if you buy this kind of processor 57 AMD 57500F processor, it will have the highest rated is 5200. So you are losing there. That is a bottleneck. I'll talk about what is the bottleneck in another video, but you will face that kind of bottleneck here. So you will lose the money for performance, I guess. So next, yeah, so in this video I would say if you are buying a PC, you need to look for the what kind of PCI lane you're choosing. PCI lane is the must things right now, and what kind of RAM you're choosing, what's the processor will receive, or motherboard will support. So you need to think about the motherboard, processor, and your RAM and your graphics card. So if you are buying, then you should get that the same generation, and for the same generation you should get the RAM if the RAM supported processor. Basically you have the higher speed RAM, but it will cut down its speed to processor its processor needs. So that would be a disaster, I guess. A mismatch, and then that will be a bottleneck, and you will feel some slow, laggy in some games that need higher resources, higher speed resources. So it's a deal. And there is another thing, for the you need the hard disk or SSD, there will be also a different kind of mismatch. If you have PCI 3 supported SSD, you will feel slow. Then if you are using the SATA, that will be slow too. So if you are buying a PC, you need to look for that. And if you are buying a budget PC, you should consider yourself lower. I mean, the budget PC current nowadays, the budget PC have the PCI Gen 4 or Gen 3 components, so you do not need that much of higher powerful graphics card. You will have the same performance with the lower graphics card. I mean, basically your computer don't have the power or resource to utilize it. It will just leave it there. Okay, that would be a great loss on buying ratio, I will say. Okay, in another video I will tell part by part exactly how can you buy a good stuff for you. Okay, then till then, see you next video.